All right.
Hello, Eric. Thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, why don't you first introduce yourself?
Thanks. My name is Eric Atalano. I'm a mortgage expert. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I've started at Bank of America when I was a teller. I moved up the ranks to account executive, which is their title for the loan guy. And I was there for quite a while. And like most guys in my profession, you jump from bank to bank until you find out what your or what your best spot is. And eventually, I became a mortgage broker, and I own my own little company where I work with multiple banks and help people get the better loan and the better program and the better interest rates to fit their individual needs.
Great. So you are the perfect person to explain it to us the buy down process in the banking. Because right now, Eric, what I'm finding out is people, buyers just cannot afford the higher interest rates. And sellers do not want to bring down the price. And so we're at a kind of a standstill. So how can a seller get the money that they want and a buyer get the interest rate that they want?
Well, that's where this temporary buy down actually comes into play for the benefit of both. So, like you said, some homes are going to be on the market just a little longer than we were used to. And that's because of what you said, rates, affordability, prices. Now, lowering your price on your home as a seller is not always attractive. It doesn't send the right message out. And after you've dropped the price, it probably encourages more offers to come in lower. As a buyer, this might help, but if the price drops only 15 or 20,000, it's not really moving the needle on the borrowing amount. It's not saving you a lot of money. The best way to save money is with the rates being dropped. So this is where temporary buy down comes in. First of all, it's important to understand temporary buy down is not an adjustable rate mortgage. It's just a temporary amount of time for a lower rate. It will never exceed whatever rate you've purchased at that time. So, for instance, in this example, 6.99 is the average rate today. Well, as a 2-1 buy down example, your first year is 4.99. Now, if during that first year you own that rate, interest rates drop to a very desirable level, you can refinance into the new rate for a forever lower payment. But if rates don't drop, the next year it only goes up 1%, 5.99, giving you more time to give the market the ability to drop further so that you can secure a better rate than what you've had at 6.9. But if the market doesn't do that, it will go back to 6.99, not any higher. And this is the rate you were originally like qualified for at that time. And it's a couple years after you've purchased the home. So you've had some savings along the way to make some adjustments to the home or your budget, or even contribute to buying down a little bit more debt before your rate goes up even further if rates are to stay high longer. There's a lot of benefits here. It's not going to be the most beautiful answer to everyone's problems, but it's a much better head start than not having it at all.
Oh, exactly. So you're saying that, in this price point, $800,000, they put down 20%, and they could get if it was just a straight 6.99 rate, they would have a mortgage payment of about $5,220. But with this first year buy down at 499, it goes down to $4,398.
Yes, saving you about $821 a month for the first year, right? Now, if they refinance 6 months after they've gotten into this program, they're going to have a lot of money left over in their escrow account. You see the cost of this at $15,200 approximately,
Hmm.
or the 2-1 buy down seller contributions need to be about 14,900. These are very similar amounts. What's important to know is if the seller pays this for the buyer to get the lower rate for that program, when they refinance, whatever is left over of this helps the refinance, which is incredibly important. But here's what else is important. If the market is asking that the property stay on the market longer, and let's say it's over the 21 days or it's over 30 days, you can actually list the opportunity to purchase this house instead of dropping the cost by 15 grand. You could say, buy this house for $800,000 with a first year interest rate of 5.99, knowing that you'll give them about $10,000 seller credit, or that you could start the first year at 4.99 and give them just $14,000 seller credit if you were already looking at that. Or you can counter with a little bit of a higher price on the home to pay for some of this in that counter offer. If someone makes you an offer at 800,000 and wants seller credits, like 10 grand, let's say, you can counter at 810 and say, look, we'll give you the 10,000. We'll just raise the price a little bit to cover that and make sure your sellers don't lose any money in that negotiation.
Mm. So it does seem like, buyers and sellers can work together on getting the property sold, which sellers want, and getting the interest rates down, what buyers needs.
That's correct. And if the buyer has any inquiries or questions about raising the price because they don't want to pay more, I'm happy to let them know that a $10,000 or $15,000 difference in the price range really doesn't change their financing payments much at all. And if they're going to get seller credits, they might actually save a lot more money in the first few years than if they don't use this program just by increasing the price a few bucks.
Hmm. Oh, this is pretty interesting. How come more people don't know about this program, Eric?
Well, until recently, we haven't really needed it. The last 2 years, interest rates have been stuck around 6%, all the way up to 7.5%. And we've seen them fluctuate like this in the last 24 months. The temporary buy down program has been helpful to those getting in. And we know rates haven't dropped massively in these last 2 years, but those buyers did have lower payments in their very first 2 years. If you could save another 820 bucks a month, even if it's just for the first year, where would that money go? That's something to think about. And usually, when buying a home, you spend a little bit of money settling in. So if you've got some free money saved up, this could help your first year or two or three be a little bit more comfortable as opposed to not having it. Lowering a purchase price by 15 grand or even 20 grand is only going to save you less than like $150 a month. It doesn't really move the needle over 30 years. But if you're able to drop the price by 2%, you're saving yourself a bunch of money in two areas. One, in the monthly payment, but this is far cheaper than if it was on the rate sheet and you were buying it down as a traditional buy down, not a temporary buy down. To get to 4.99% in today's rate sheets, you'd have to spend close to $70,000.
Mm. Oh, wow. So, Eric, if buyers and sellers want to hear more about this program, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, you can call me, text me, or email me. My cell phone number here, 760-317-6013, or Google me, Resident Lending, and my profile should pop up. I'm local, and I'm the only mortgage broker with the name Resident in it.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And until the next time we talk, keep selling and saving people money.
Well, thank you, John. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and it's even more of a pleasure working with you and clients. I look forward to our next video.
Okay, thank you.
All right.